Okay, let's talk about one of the most hazardous operations on any vessel, mooring. Now, I know what you're thinking. Your crew has done this 1,000 times. But that routine, that very familiarity, well, that's exactly what makes it so deadly. So think of this as more than just another procedure. This is your critical safety briefing. And let's not mince words. Here's the bottom line, straight from the International Marine Contractors Association. The stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't about avoiding paperwork, you know? It's about making absolutely sure that every single person on your crew goes home safe. Every single time. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get into the biggest, most invisible threat. Then, we're going to focus on your crew and your plan. After that, we'll dive into the tools and the environment itself. Then, we'll walk through how to execute safely inside the danger zone, and we'll wrap it all up with the one final check that is absolutely non-negotiable. Let's get right to the heart of it. The single greatest threat during any mooring operation isn't a snapping line or a busted winch. Nope, it's that feeling, that little voice that says, we've done this 1,000 times. Think about it. Every time your crew heads to the mooring station, you're not just fighting the elements, you're fighting complacency. That familiarity, it can make us cut corners, maybe miss a small sign of wear and tear, or forget a crucial communication step. That's the mental trap we have to actively guard against before every single operation. So how do we fight that? How do we beat complacency? Well, it all starts with the basics: a well-prepared crew, a crystal-clear leader, and a plan that is absolutely rock solid. On a busy deck, you've got engines running, lines moving, people shouting. In all that chaos, this is the most critical question. If there's even a split second of confusion about who's giving the orders, you are already in a dangerous spot. The answer has to be obvious to everyone, every single time. And look, these aren't just suggestions, they are the bare minimum. You need one voice, one clear leader on that deck. That person needs to stand out, different color vest, whatever it takes. They need to be in constant contact with the bridge, and they have to be the sole source of commands for that deck team. No exceptions, period. I mean, the contrast on this slide really says it all, doesn't it? Vague or ambiguous communication is just a direct path to disaster. The solution? It's a simple but incredibly powerful closed-loop system. Every command from the bridge is repeated back from the deck. Every signal from the deck is confirmed by the bridge. This one simple habit can eliminate deadly confusion. And right here, this is your single best weapon against complacency, the toolbox talk. This is not a formality. It's not about ticking a box. This is where you get specific. You talk about the risks for this particular operation, the wind, the current, that specific berth. Everyone's role gets confirmed, and every single person, from the bosun to the newest deckhand, knows the emergency stop signal cold. Okay, so the team is aligned, everyone's on the same page. Now let's shift our focus to the equipment and the environment. Because let's face it, a perfect plan is totally useless if your gear fails you. It really is that simple. The ropes and wires holding your vessel to the quay are pretty much the only thing preventing a catastrophe. They demand our constant, and I mean relentless, attention. A line that looks even a little bit doubtful, that's a line that does not get used. End of story. So, what are you looking for? Well, the obvious external damage, of course, the fraying, but you gotta look deeper. Look for where between the strands. Check for signs of contamination from oil or even bird guano, which can seriously degrade the fibers. And how are they being stored? Are they out of direct sunlight? This level of detail has to be part of your daily routine. Now let's talk hardware. This checklist is your shield. That winch brake setting, it's absolutely critical. It's designed to be a safety valve, to slip before the line snaps. And your fair leads, are they smooth or are they corroded with sharp edges that'll just chew through a brand new line? Do the rollers actually roll? Each one of these is a potential failure point that a simple pre-use check can and must catch. And you know, it's not just the dedicated mooring gear. The deck itself can be a minefield. The most common accidents, aside from line failures, are simple slips and trips. A little bit of grease from a winch, a patch of ice on a cold morning, or a poorly lit deck at night. Any of these can take a crew member out of action in an instant. Good housekeeping isn't just about being tidy. It's about safety. All right, the plan is solid, the crew is briefed, and all the gear has been checked. Now, we execute. And this is the part where situational awareness becomes absolutely everything. This
This right here is the single most important point to drill into your crew. When those lines are under tension, there is no safe place to stand. The path of a parting line is violent, it's unpredictable. You have to treat the entire mooring deck as a live danger zone.
And this brings up a really critical update in safety thinking. A lot of us are used to seeing those painted snapback zones on deck, right? Well, modern guidance now strongly advises against doing that. And why? Because it creates a totally false sense of security. It makes people think that standing just one step outside the line is safe, and that is a fatal assumption. So what's the right way to do it? You mark the entrances to the mooring deck. You put up clear, unmissable warning signs on the doors and hatches that lead to that area. You use physical barriers if you can. The goal isn't to mark a safe spot on the deck. The goal is to make every single person who enters that entire area aware that they are stepping in to a hazardous zone. And hey, let's not forget about passing the lines. The old practice of adding bits of steel to a monkey's fist is banned for a very good reason. It turns a heaving line into a lethal projectile. Safe transfer means crystal clear communication with the tugs and the linesmen ashore, and making sure only properly trained crew are operating gear like line-throwing guns. Okay, we're getting close to the end of our briefing. This last part really pulls everything together. It's about a final, personal commitment to safety that every crew member has to make before they even think about stepping onto that deck. This right here is the uniform. It is completely non-negotiable. From the person in charge to the most junior rating, if someone is not wearing every single piece of this equipment and wearing it correctly, they do not participate. The team leader has to verify this before the first line even goes over. It is the last and maybe most important barrier between your crew and a serious injury. And we'll end with this question. After the lines are fast, the operation's over, can you look at your crew and know for a fact that they are safe because of the actions you took? Because safety isn't an accident. It's the direct result of deliberate planning, constant vigilance, and unwavering leadership. And that, Captain, is your ultimate responsibility.